Hi everybody, welcome to this edition of the Sunday Drive, sponsored by Manly Motors in downtown Lindsay. Thanks to them for sponsoring it. And today we are going to talk to Tessa Smith. Hi Tessa.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. This is amazing. She is a Terry Fox scholar. She's an activist, she's a cancer survivor, and she's a whole lot more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this edition of your Sunday Drive. Okay, Tessa, so you are a cancer survivor, you're a Terry Fox scholar, and a Terry Fox ambassador. So let's talk about that first, the whole Terry Fox connection.
Yeah.
What is a Terry Fox scholar, and how do you become one?
So a Terry Fox scholar there's a scholarship that's called the Terry Fox Humanitarian Award Program, and you can apply to it. Any Canadian can apply to it. So there's usually about 700 applicants a year, and 22 people are accepted. It's basically for people who either you're in high school or you're in post-secondary school and you want to apply because you excel academically and in the community doing humanitarianism work. So basically you apply for that, and it's a grant, and it's also just a huge honor to be called a Terry Fox scholar, which you will be called for life no matter what. So you apply, and then the top 10% of applicants get an interview. You get called in to do an interview, and then only 22 people are selected. So wow. I went through that process. I actually did apply. Thank you. I was very nerve-wracking. I applied last year, but didn't even make it to the interview round. But this year, Fred Fox called me. That's Terry Fox's brother. So I met him back in 2014. Really, really nice guy. Actually didn't even notice I was an amputee at first, because I was wearing pants and we were going up the stairs, and he was like, oh my God, I didn't even notice. Anyway, he was the one who called me, and he told me that I was one of the recipients, and he also said that my interview was ranked #1 in Ontario. So that was
Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's
thank
amazing.
You.
And you mentioned you are an amputee. Did you have the same type of cancer as Terry Fox?
I did.
You did?
That's
okay.
Osteosarcoma.
And osteosarcoma, it's called. Okay, and when were you diagnosed?
I was 13, so actually I got diagnosed on Friday the 13th in April of 2012.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And tell me about that whole journey. What transpired?
So I need to tell you about the second journey. I need to tell you about the first. So when I was 3 months old, I was diagnosed with bilateral retinoblastoma. So that's cancer of the retinas. This eye was removed. My right eye was removed because I had chemo and laser treatment, and it had blown up in this eye because it was in both, so they had to take this one out. They were able to salvage this one, even though tumors did keep growing. They were catching them early enough that they were able to kill them all. So I only have the one eye. There was a 4% chance growing up that I could get osteosarcoma between my main growing years of 12 to 17, and that's when I got it at 13. So it's only a 4% chance that I would get this. So with the osteosarcoma, I went through 7 months of chemo, really, really intense, hardcore chemo. I was probably at home, if I count the total amount of days I was at home, it was probably a month out of 7. So it was really nice whenever I did get the chance to go home. So I started getting treatment in April, and then I had my amputation called rotationplasty in July 2012. And then I kept doing chemo until November, because that's what they learned from Terry Fox, is you can't just amputate and be on your way. There's always the chance that it can come back in your lungs as lung mets. So that's why I kept doing chemo. Even though the cancer was gone, it was like a precaution.
Right, okay.
So, something that people don't know about me is probably that I grieve every day. Every day.
What do you grieve?
I've lost 7 friends to cancer. I've lost a huge part of myself to cancer that is just totally dead, and I will never know again, but that's okay. I don't know, I've just lost, not to mention I've literally lost body parts.
You've had your leg amputated, right? From the knee? Is it below the knee?
No, so I was gonna explain this to you. It's called rotationplasty. My incision is up here.
Okay.
So the tumor was on a blood vessel on the back of my knee, so I could have either done a Terry Fox amputation, so right at the hip, or rotationplasty. So with rotationplasty, they amputate directly below your hip and directly below your hip and directly below your knee, and they take that whole section out because that's the cancer infected portion, and they bring up the rest of your calf, rotate it 180 degrees, and reattach it back to the hip incision. So this is where the incision is, and my foot and ankle are in here, so I can't really do it in the car, but that is my, like, your ankle acts as a knee joint.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's ingenious.
They've been doing it for like 30 years, but it's still like not a lot of people have it. So, yeah. So
so how is that? Like, how does it work? You walk?
Yeah, I just walk. I've been using a cane on and off because of the pain.
So if you were going for a Sunday drive, you would want to come to the park. So we're going to go to Emily Provincial Park. We're here at Emily Park, and something you said to me on the way here when I didn't have the camera on was about your hair.
Oh, yes.
After you had chemo, you have beautiful hair, by the way.
Thank you.
But you said after you had chemo, your hair changed color and came back curly. I've heard of it changing, like coming back curly or whatever, but I'd never heard of it changing color.
It came back like I can't even describe the brown. It was like really mousy and just light. Like I didn't like it at all. So I let it grow until it was probably about how long did I let it grow? Probably it was a good length, and then I did a little bit of ombre, so I wasn't doing my roots at first because I didn't want to touch them, and then a couple years later I was like full blown like fire truck red hair. About a year and a half ago, my hair was getting really sick itself because it was getting a lot thinner, and it didn't feel great, so I just stopped dyeing it, and this is the result. It's back to that
Came
blonde.
back to its normal regular color.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
So I was speaking for a couple years just at elementary schools and high schools and some post-secondary schools, and then I've been doing that for 2 years, and then one day we got an email from the foundation and they said, do you want to actually be like a poster girl? Or they requested it. And my mom like started freaking out. I was just kind of sitting on the couch like, what? So then I said yes, and it all happened pretty quickly. I put something together that's on the poster. It says like what I wrote. It's posters all across Canada to like millions of students will see that. It's thousands of schools. So obviously I couldn't get all across Canada to go and speak, but it wasn't an obligation that I had to go and talk to schools just because I was in that role, but I wanted to. So my mom and I went to about 25 schools in Ontario in September of 2016. And a bit of October, we met the PM, so we went up to Ottawa and we just did a lot of like humanitarian work with that.
And you mentioned rock climbing and stand-up paddleboard. Yeah. Wow.
I'm an active girl as much as I can be when the pain's not too much to bear. So I haven't gone rock climbing in a while, but my mom and I stand up paddleboard and like do yoga and stuff, like on the board during the summer. So.
And when I first found out about you, it was through Instagram, and your amazingly inspiring pictures that you post on Instagram.
Thank you.
You're very, and I know you're not like this all the time, but you're very self-assured, and you're very comfortable in your own skin.
It's definitely been it didn't happen overnight, I'll tell you that. I've definitely had my woes with mental health for sure, but I feel like I'm a very artistic person, and I really like doing my collages. I don't know if you've seen some of those on my page, but doing the collage itself is one part of the art, and then taking a photo of it is like the other half. And then I find when I post stuff like that, or if I'm just posting self-portraits I've done, it's more the caption that I really care about. Because yeah, a photo you can look really nice, or you can put something out there that you really are proud of, but I'm a writer, and I think like being able to put my thoughts into words and just be able to put it out there freely and have people actually caring to read it and then responding to it is what really makes it special for me.
And it's the photos that you put on there of you wearing your bathing suit and things like that with your prosthesis, right? Like to me, that was like, wow, this woman is very brave and obviously confident and self-assured enough to do this. Where does that come from?
My mom, probably.
I love moms.
Yeah, I love my mom. I love moms in general, but yeah, she probably is the reason for that. Because I've never been one of those girls to be like, yeah, I'm gonna post a bikini pic. Like, I'm not. I just kind of do it because I felt good and I didn't think twice about it. Really, I don't know. Maybe it's because of my first cancer, but I just kind of consider, like, I trust the universe. I have one of my tattoos is that on the back of my neck, and it's just, I don't know, whatever happens. So.
Is that part of what you do in your talks now as well, is to try to inspire self-body, a good self-body image and that kind of thing for other people with disabilities, or for... I
haven't done a speech since March. I've been taking a bit of time off, much needed.
Much deserved.
Yeah, the last speech I did was at the Relay for Life at my school, Trent. So I didn't really, it was more about the cancer aspect and fundraising, but when I get back into speaking, because it's more popular during the school year, like September to June, I would like to branch more into that and like talking about social media, talking about disability on social media, just talking about disability in general, body image. I'm really interested in those topics, so I would like to do more of that.
You seem also very positive in general about life.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, a lot of people I see complaining every day about what I would consider small things, and we all do it. But how do you find the strength to do that, to remain so positive and overcome all of this?
Well, I have my bad days. I have my really bad days, and it's not, I don't think it should come as a surprise that a cancer survivor, like two-time cancer survivor and amputee, just someone living with invisible disabilities as well, like the chronic pain, like I struggle with depression, anxiety, and PTSD very prominently. So my mom is definitely my rock for me because she is that source of positivity all the time, even though she herself is actually sick with really rare and serious heart condition. But she's doing so much. I could just go into that on its own, but she, even though she deals with that stuff, my dad is the anchor to the boat of keeping us afloat. I think I've recently come up with that analogy.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. But she's also, I don't know, she's kind of like the sun. Like she's always, even if we're, mostly me, because my dad's just like a chill, happy dude. She's just that sun that's like, it's okay. Like you just have to keep going no matter what. And it can get really frustrating because I just like, some days I just want to give up, but like you can't give up. It says never give up.
Oh, never give up. I love it. Wow.
So that is something as well with body image, that when I have my leg off, especially if I'm getting intimate with someone, that is a huge self-conscious thing for me, because not only is it a backwards leg, it's a swollen backwards foot, and that is a constant battle for me all the time. But I feel like at this point I used to be kind of a selective eater, but at this point I feel like I'm more comfy in my skin. So I'm just kind of letting go of a bunch of shit, and it's making me feel better.
Good.
So
yeah. Yeah, that is something that I had never thought of actually, is how you would feel, when you were getting intimate.
It's hard.
Yeah, it would be hard because like most of us women especially we don't feel confident in general anyways without our clothing on.
Yeah, I mean, well, what is that quote? It's like modesty empowers some, nudity empowers some. I've always been more of a modesty kind of girl. I'm comfortable getting intimate, but when I've like just been experiencing this recently because of my own LGBTQ identity, so I identify as bisexual or queer. It's been really difficult kind of getting intimate with cisgender men because it just, I don't know how personal you want to get here, but like it's very difficult to figure out what's going to work, especially with my pain, because everything hurts.
So you said that you identify as queer. Explain to people what exactly that is.
When I think of queer, I kind of think of it as like an umbrella term. So I've never felt comfortable with identifying as bisexual just because there's so much stigma around it still, and even a lot of people in the LGBT community are kind of discriminatory towards it. But I like men and women. I like both. Like, it doesn't really, like, some people might consider that pan because I've had a transgender partner, but I just consider it like I love who I love, and it doesn't really matter how they identify. So I feel more comfortable with queer. I'm getting more comfortable with bisexual now.
And you also go to Trent University. What are you studying?
I'm studying English Lit, aka all of the reading, all of the time.
So what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Do you know, or are you still trying to figure that out?
I always answer this question by saying that I want to be alive, because I really have no idea what I want to do specifically. I have so many different avenues for potential that I could walk down. But I always find like I'll do so many things at once and I'll spread myself too thin, and then I'm not giving enough time to one thing that I really care about.
Yeah. And tell me, you're cancer-free now.
Cancer-free now.
How often do you go back for checkups, and what?
Now it's annually, so you're actually catching me at a time. I had one appointment on Monday, just an echocardiogram, so like an ultrasound of your heart, basically. And next Monday I have oncology at Princess Margaret, so that's just my cancer check, which is just basically an appointment. I have a pain team appointment, and then I have another appointment at Sick Kids for my annual eye ophthalmology checkups. Yeah.
Do you ever say to yourself, why me? Why is all of this happening to me?
Not really. Occasionally, only ever to myself do I say that. I have never said that to another person, because they can't do anything if I say that. It's just going to make them feel worse. And if I can keep my sadness ripple to a minimum, that's ideal, because I don't want to upset other people with my sadness, because I believe that I have sadness that is just, it's very deep rooted, and I come off as a very, no, I wouldn't say happy person. I just come off as a very optimistic person.
Positive,
I would think.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not that at my core. I think I'm definitely a deeply depressed person that a lot of people don't know. That would be something that
you
people
work
don't
at
know.
it though. You work at being happy. I get that impression.
Yes, I don't know if I will ever reach happiness, though it's the goal. I think one of the ways that I'm really expressing like the depression that I have that's so just in its depths is through short stories that I've been writing. I submitted one to the CBC Nonfiction Prize in February, so
when to hear back?
September.
Oh, fingers crossed.
So yeah, a couple months to go waiting, but that short story was called Finish the Sentence, and it was just like my brain exploded onto the page in just what I really feel. And even if it doesn't win anything, I just wanted to know someone read it, because that is my way of saying this is how sad I am. I will never verbally say that to anyone who's not in my immediate inner circle.
And if people want to follow you, because I want to let people know about your Instagram account. It's, what is it? I like it.
The Tessagram.
The Tessagram, that's it. I love it.
I was actually really surprised when it wasn't taken.
Yeah. So if you want to check out Tessa's Instagram, the Tessagram, please check it out. She's got some really great, inspiring photos on there as well, and some good captions too.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tessa. Really appreciate it, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.